We're on Raw Food Stories with Ronnie and Chef Minh, and they are going to share with us everything that they've learned from the raw food lifestyle and just how they're transforming the world and the planet with their valuable knowledge.
Hi.
So welcome.
Hi. We're Ronnie and Minh, and Minh, you want to say hi?
I did.
She did. Minh's not a talker. I'm the talker. Minh's the chef. Basically, Minh has an amazing story because a lot of people think that raw food is new, but it really isn't new. What's new is processed food. And an example is Minh. Minh grew up in Vietnam in a house that was made of dirt with a grass roof. She didn't have electricity. They didn't have a refrigerator. And she's the youngest of 8 children. Minh's mother was 100% raw. And Minh's mother would take Minh out every day, strapped to her back as a little child, and they would go out into the jungle and they would pick their food. That was their market. They didn't have a supermarket, they didn't have a car, they didn't have anything. They lived in the jungle. And millions of people around the world live that way. We just don't know about it because we're so used to processed food. But the reason that we love raw food so much is because when you liberate yourself from the chemicals that are in processed and packaged food, you really take on a second life because your body responds to it, and it's actually not only a physical internal cleansing, but it's a spiritual cleansing also, because it's really a liberating thing. And so that's what we do. We make DVDs to show people how to have success with raw living food, because it's needed now more than ever, because we can see what's happening from the results of all the processed food. So Minh's style is really a very simplistic, natural style. We don't use supplements and powdered things or things that come in a package. We use basically fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, things that you can buy anywhere. But naturally, the closer we can get to organic, the better it is. But as long as we stick with fruits and vegetables, we find we really do well. I've been at it 14 years. Minh's been at it all her life. And for me, it's been amazing. It's been, at 60 years old, we're both 60 years old, and honestly, I feel better now, energy-wise, than I did when I was 30. I don't think I have the strength that I had when I was 30, but I definitely have a higher energy level. Neither one of us carry health insurance. We don't have anything against doctors, but we just feel too good to worry about that kind of a thing. And that's what we're about. Minh, you want to say anything about how you learned about the raw food?
I learned about raw food from my mom, but we didn't know about the raw food before.
They didn't know it was called raw food.
Called the raw food, but when I come American, I asked my husband. He tried to explain with me about raw food. And raw food, we don't cook and everything like that. So now I understand that the raw food. So some I learned from my mom, some I decide by myself. Like that. Look like sunrise amazing. I decided, and seaweed. I decided. Something else I try to decide that sometimes I meditation, I keep thinking about the food. When I make it, they come out so easy.
When she meditates, she thinks about the food, and that's where she gets her ideas and inspirations. And I would tell anybody, if they're new to raw foods, just give it a try. Give it 3 or 4 days. Just don't even make raw food masterpiece recipes. Just get a bunch of apples, oranges, bananas, dates, nuts, figs, anything that you can look at and say, okay, this came from nature. And just keep it around the house. So when you get hungry, grab something like that. Grab an apple, grab an orange, and you can eat a whole plate of apples until you're full. You don't necessarily have to make a gourmet raw meal, although that's great. But if you start with a simplistic diet of raw food, that's where you'll find success. And the longer I stay with raw food, even though Minh is a raw food, amazing raw food chef, I just find myself wanting an apple or an orange or a banana or something really simple. And I think you'll find success if you stick with simplicity.
Why do you think a lot of the people that are so into the raw foods diet, why are they so naturally, overflowingly inspired to share it with other people?
Well, because it works. And again, it's kind of a spiritual transformation. You know, when you see something like this that works, and it's not a gimmick, and it's for real, and it's not a fad, and it's not just a money-making deal, it resounds inside of you. And what you're just talking about, I see it so many times. You'll meet somebody, and they'll start eating raw foods, and then a week later, they're declaring themselves a raw chef, and they're talking to everybody raw food because it works for them, and they want to share it with other people. And it does that to you, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so much. Ronnie.
And to end, can we get a go raw for the world? Go raw.
Go raw.
Go raw!
Or else.
Or else.